Take a giant waterfall, an active geyser, a national park, and a journey through the stunning landscape of Iceland, with lava fields, volcanoes and hot springs, and you get the Golden Circle. Today we set off on the 8-hour excursion, the Golden Circle, which takes us to the absolute highlights of Iceland. But let's start from the beginning. First of all, I have to apologize in advance for the pronunciation of Icelandic places. I'm sure I'm doing it wrong. The advice was to say it short, fast and strange. I gave it my best shot. We start at the Skarfabakki cruise terminal, where we arrived yesterday on the MSC Fantasia. From here we start by bus. We will visit 3 of Iceland's most important attractions. First the Strokkur geyser, then the Gullfoss waterfall, and finally Thingvellir National Park. All 3 destinations are a must for any visit of Iceland. Here you can experience the extraordinary landscapes of this volcanic island, the vast lava fields, the barren mountains, the wild rivers and the unique volcanic landscape. We leave Reykjavik on the Ring Road, Highway 1. The Ring Road runs all the way around Iceland, but we only follow it for a short distance. It is the same route that we traveled yesterday on our Ring of Fire excursion. This time, however, we'll drive past the Hellisheidi power plant and do not stop in Hveragerði either. The journey leads through a landscape created by volcanism, with wide lava fields that are hardly overgrown. Iceland lies exactly on the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, which is more than 20,000 kilometers long. Here the North American and Eurasian continental plates are drifting apart at an average speed of 2 centimeters per year. As the North American and Eurasian plates drift apart, magma from the Earth's interior is constantly reaching the surface. This can currently be observed very well on the Reykjanes Peninsula, where a new crack has been forming again and again for several months, from which magma is emerging, causing countless earthquakes. You could say Iceland is still growing. So it's a very exciting island with lots of volcanic and post-volcanic activity, such as fumaroles, hot springs and geysers, some of which we are going to see today. We are already seeing lots of hot springs, some of them right next to the road. Today Hveragerði lies under a thick blanket of fog. The town was formed around hot springs and translates roughly as Springfield. After Hveragerði we follow the Sogged River before turning northwards. Here you will occasionally see fertile stretches of farmland where grain is grown and packed into marshmallows to protect the harvest from the rain. There is also sheep farming here. We slowly approach our first destination for today, the Geysir geothermal area with the famous Strokkur geyser. It is our first geyser ever, so this is very exciting. The Strokkur geyser is located in a geothermally active area with hot springs, mud pots, fumaroles and other geothermal attractions. There is a visitor center with a restaurant and there are several hotels and campsites. There is no admission fee to visit the geyser and the area is accessible year-round. There is a walking trail which also passes the Strokkur geyser, and there are designated viewing areas. It is important to stay within those areas for safety reasons. The water in the geyser is extremely hot. It can reach up to 100 degrees Celsius and can cause serious injury or even death. So, no swimming. The Strokkur geyser is quite active and erupts every 5 to 10 minutes. The fountain is 15 to 20 meters high. It is not easy to capture the eruption on video, but there was someone shouting "Jetzt" in German, which means now. It's a great experience to see the water rising and watch the eruption. It's spectacular. In addition to the Strokkur, you can also see several tubes in this geothermal park. The water in the tubes is clear and boiling hot. There is steam everywhere and hot water bubbles up in many places. So how does a geyser work? The word geyser itself means something like hot spring. However, the difference between a geyser and a hot spring is that a geyser periodically erupts with water and steam, while a hot spring is a pool of hot water that does not erupt. In simple terms, a geyser occurs when groundwater enters an underground channel that is close to the heat source, such as magma. This is why geysers can only be found in a few places on Earth. The water heats up and rises due to the pressure. If the pressure becomes too high, the water shoots to the surface and vaporizes. That is an eruption. You can observe the evaporation here at the Strokkur very well. There is another geyser here, but that one is less active. We didn't see it during our visit. We were here for a total of 50 minutes, and during this time Strokkur erupted several times. We drive on to our next destination, the Gullfoss, also known as the Golden Waterfall. Gullfoss is one of Iceland's most famous waterfalls, located in the gorge of the river Hvita, and a favorite with visitors to Iceland. The Gullfoss waterfall is created by a series of cascades that plunge into the canyon below. The water travels down from the glacier Langjökull, which means long glacier, and it definitely is a long glacier. the Gullfoss there is a visitor center with a restaurant and a souvenir shop. There is no entrance fee, only a parking fee at the visitor center. On this trip we were offered lunch at the restaurant, but we skipped it to spend more time at the waterfall. The Gullfoss has two big drops, one measuring 11 meters and the other 21 meters, for a total height of 32 meters. This makes it one of the most powerful waterfalls in Europe. There are several walking trails and viewing platforms around Gullfoss that offer stunning views of the waterfall and canyon, but you should be careful and stay on the designated path, as it can be slippery and dangerous. We first climb to a higher platform so that we have a better overall view. Then we want to get close to the waterfall. The Gullfoss was formed during the last ice age when glacial runoff carved out a deep canyon in the Kvita River. The canyon walls on both sides of the waterfall reach heights up to 70 meters, descending into the canyon. In the summer, approximately 140 cubic meters of water surges down the waterfall every second, whilst in winter that number drops to around 109 cubic meters. If you get too close to the powerful spray of the waterfall, don't be surprised if you get wet. Gullfoss is open to visitors year-round, but during the winter the waterfall can be partially frozen and covered with snow, which certainly has a very special charm, creating a beautiful winter wonderland. The last stop on our tour is the Thingvellir National Park, which is not only geologically but also historically important for Iceland. It is actually the heart of Iceland. Thingvellir is Iceland's first national park and was established in 1928. Today it is also recognized as a World Heritage Site. Thingvellir National Park is of great historical significance because the Icelandic Parliament was founded here in the year 930. It is considered the oldest parliament in the world that still exists today. Until 1798 the Icelandic Parliament met in this place, which is considered to be the cradle of the country. Thingvellir is also of great geological importance because the tectonic rift between the North American and Eurasian continental plates runs here. The huge fissure is called Almannagjá. It is the highlight of the park and you can walk through it, which is what we're about to do. The national park is open 24/7 and the admission is free, with a charge only for parking and the exhibition. There is a visitor center with a cafe, a gift shop and an exhibition, as well as a beautiful viewing platform with a view over Lake Thingvellir. We're skipping the viewing platform today because we were there yesterday. Instead we set off through the Almannagjá gorge to the waterfall Öxarafoss. It is about 2 kilometers from the Thingvellir National Park Visitor Center to the waterfall. The path runs through the Almannagjá gorge. Now in August it is easily accessible. This is where the continental plates of Europe and America meet. You can clearly see the geological boundary on the vertical rock face. It is the best place in the world to actually see the continental drift and experience it up close. Most of the rift valley edges are otherwise below the surface of the water. To our left is the American continental plate and to our right the Eurasian plate. It's fascinating. In a matter of seconds you can virtually swing between Europe and America. The view is fantastic with the mountain peaks on the horizon.
Also mich würde die Mittelmeerbucht noch interessieren, die Idee schon nicht. Und ich würde mal gerne.
This is Strokkur, the drowning pool. The beautiful pool is situated underneath the waterfalls of the Öxara river. Despite its scenic beauty, it has a dark history. It was an execution site where women were drowned as a punishment. The drowning of women in Strokkur was not a custom but a punishment decided by the parliament for adultery, incest and infanticide. The last woman was drowned here in 1739. The last stretch to the waterfall Öxarafoss is along a wooden boardwalk. The picturesque waterfall flows down the rock face of the continental fissure. The pool at the base of the waterfall is filled with rocks. It's a magical place. Was the trip worth it? We have now been traveling for almost 8 hours and we have seen some of the absolute highlights of Iceland. Each of these sites was unique. We would have loved to stay longer. The geothermal park with the Strokkur geyser was impressive. Since Strokkur erupts again and again every 5 to 10 minutes, even a short stay here is worth it. Gullfoss is a huge and breathtaking waterfall. As we skipped lunch in the restaurant next door, we had plenty of time here and were able to take in the waterfall from all the viewing platforms. We were here around lunchtime and it was pretty busy with lots of visitors. Thingvellir National Park is incredible. There's so much to see here and it's wonderful for hiking. The landscape is fascinating and Öxarafoss was also beautiful. You should plan a lot of time in this park. On the path between the continental plates, the Almanagja, you meet a lot of visitors, but away from it, it is very quiet and you can enjoy the landscape to the full in peace and quiet. We learned a lot about the country, the history, the people and their culture. We were lucky with the weather as the sun was shining frequently and the sky was mostly blue. In the afternoon it was actually really warm, which we hadn't expected. Until now, when I thought of Iceland, I thought of wind and rain. In any case, today's trip certainly made us want to see more of Iceland and immerse ourselves more deeply into the country. In the evening we set sail on the MSC Fantasia and travel on to Ísafjörður. We are already looking forward to tomorrow and the next excursion, which will take us to the Dynjani waterfall. You can see that in the next video. Until then, and thank you so much for watching.